Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. This is Retro Wednesday, and today I'm going to talk to you about the vintage 1984 Imperial Shuttle Hyderium. We're going to talk about this. This is what my channel's named after. It's going to be a lot of fun coming up.
All right, hang on.
Back in the 80s, they made these Imperial Shuttles in part of the vintage Star Wars line, but they also made this mini rig. Now, I didn't even know they made a full-size Imperial Shuttle back then, not until collecting later on. When I was a kid, I had this guy, which had a couple of features. I think they call it the ISP-6, but you have an opening canopy. It's a one-man fighter. It's a mini rig. I think it was like a $5 or $6 price point back then. And I had a lot of fun with it. This is one of my favorite Star Wars ships when I was a kid. And if I knew they made that, I would have done whatever it took to get that thing for Christmas one year. Size-wise, this is how it scales with the X-Wing. And as you can see, it is a massive, massive vehicle. But the base of the vehicle is about the same size, just a little bit longer than an X-Wing. And the X-Wing is about the same width. If I can show that. It's about the same width of it, but this, of course, is wide and it's a big giant chunk in the middle and 3 wings off of it. We're going to get into it. I have 2 of them here and they're positioned differently for different things. So let's get right into that. First off, I have this one positioned like this because this is in its flight mode. And so when you press this button on the handle down here, the wings are supposed to slide down. Most of mine, the mechanism doesn't properly work. Now there's a 3D kit floating around. You can probably find it on eBay, but you can actually take it apart and put this 3D kit on it and repair it and make that function work again. I just haven't done it with any of them. If I do it, I'll probably do a video about it. So that's one feature. Another feature is it has an opening cockpit. So here we go with the cockpit opens. Now, for some reason, they want to fall off. It stays. You can hold the cockpit open like this, but it falls off nice and easy. I don't feel like I'm going to break anything. It holds 2 figures. There's also room back behind it. And the funny thing about it is the room behind it, that was where the loading ramp is. So you can put some figures back there if you want to. It's something that you could do if you wanted to, I guess, because they did show 4. Here it is. It did show 4 characters.
Requesting deactivation of the deflector shield.
In the cockpit, and you could actually make it fit if you wanted to. Now the cockpit doesn't really have any detail. It does have stickers. And so one of the things about vintage vehicles are the stickers, and it does even have stickers on the dashboard. So that's kind of cool too. Now, most of mine have some yellowing to them, so it's just the way it is. When you get something this old, getting a pristine one is really hard. Moving around from the side mode, you can see all the detail it has on the wings. You also have the wing gun, and you have the front gun. And so the wing guns are usually with it. The front guns are the hard ones to get. They usually fall off and are broken and missing. Then you have this hatch. And of course, more line work, more detailing, a piece of tape residue. That's wonderful. You can fit, there's stands for 3, but they keep falling down. I'm sure that's just the worn out, but when it was brand new, it probably held in just fine. But you can also see in here, lots of room for lots of figures, but only 3 pegs for 3 figures in there. And then there's stickers. Now, I'm sure these were applied by some kid or something back in the day, but they're still there, so that looks nice. And then you do have line work. You've got stairs going up. And then, of course, there's like a control panel. So you could put quite a few figures. I mean, you might cram 20 figures in there if you really just cram them in there. Here is the center fin, which, again, this one, it's really hard to get intact sometimes. Sometimes they break right here, and that's an issue. That's a breakage issue. But the center fin's got the stickers, and then getting the stickers on it, I bet you could get repro labels for this thing if you needed it. So moving that one aside, I want to show you a few features that I have pre-set up on this one. This is kind of why I have 2 of them on the table right now. And this ramp right here is awesome. It's just like in the movie, except the sad thing is it's a little too skinny to match the movie, and it doesn't have struts. But for the time, it was great. It worked, and they've kind of solved a couple of the issues with it by making it telescope down. They're big on telescoping stuff with Kenner. And so with that, you could reenact some scenes, but you could see the way I've kind of shown it that Lando is right there and his head is up in the hole. So really it's, maybe you could throw an Emperor and you can see his feet or something, but it's still cool to have it, and it's a feature that I like, and that piece is getting harder and harder to find. Next thing I want to show you with this one is the positioning of these guns, and it just seems like I actually like the position of the guns like this with the guns on the top versus the guns on the bottom. But I guess it doesn't really matter. I've seen it in official pictures both ways. So that's kind of one of those things that I don't feel like there's a true official. Maybe I should watch the movie a lot more, right? Looking at the rear view, starting at the bottom, you can fold these legs up, and then with that, you would have just a handle. But the handle doesn't fold away. So the handle's always going to be there. So pretty much no matter what, you're going to have these down when you set it down, unless you want to risk breaking it, which I don't. Now some of these stickers are worn, but these are all original stickers, and I don't know, I actually don't care if I have original or non-original, but if my originals are look close enough, I mean, I wouldn't want to replace them. Now looking in here, the batteries are going to fall out, but it takes 2 AA batteries. And it's interesting and ingenious how they set this up, because these 2 little pieces here hold the batteries in place. And then when you press this button right here, makes a sound. It's the Kenner sound. Sadly, there's no lights for this, so nothing lights up. Would be nice if the engine lit up. And I kind of would wish that they would make another version of this vehicle, maybe a new BMF version. For those of you who don't know what the term BMF means, it was a collector term, and it was for big Millennium Falcon. When they made the Millennium Falcon big, they started calling all the larger upscaled ones Big Millennium Falcon or BMF, and so that they all just carried that name forward. I want to show you the box on this thing, and the box is big. It's massive because the vehicle is big and it's massive. And so this one's in rough shape, but it does show you the picture in the front. This thing was bought at KB. I love stuff like that. I know a lot of collectors don't like price tags and stuff, but those kinds of things just really bring it back. And that's a lot of what collecting does, is just bring it back. Now the side shot looks a whole lot better. You get to see some features, adjust laser cannons, open Imperial cockpit, and then it shows how the wings go down, shows landing gear, shows 3 figures. Let's get this in here. 3 figures inside, like I was showing you earlier. Now Kenner did this a lot with their packaging, especially with the big vehicles, and it was mostly the big vehicles. They would have a real shiny, glossy side or two, and then the other sides would have this black and white with, I'm surprised it even has that little bit of color in the Return of the Jedi. So that's a Kenner thing of back in the day. Looks like all the same things we saw in another picture, but just drawn in black and white shades of gray. And the top panels right here show, they show the vehicle in both modes. Good old Kenner packaging. I hope you enjoy this look back at the Imperial Shuttle Tidarium from the Tidarium hangar. I actually really like this vehicle. It's my favorite one, so I have several. When it really makes sense to only have one, it doesn't make sense to have multiples. I still have multiples because I like it that much. What do you think about this vehicle? Do you think they should remake it? Do you think they ever will remake it? And if they did remake it, how much bigger could they go? Like, subscribe. Tidarium hangar out.